Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Mr. Rogues. In this video we spotlight forgotten superhero Simon Dark. Throughout the decades, countless brave heroes have risen up to kick some supervillain butt in the pages of comic books. Some of these superheroes have gone on to stand among the most iconic characters in fiction, while others have completely vanished into obscurity. In this episode of Forgotten Superheroes, we spotlight Simon Dark. Simon Dark made his first appearance in his own eponymous comic book series, published between 2007 and 2009. The series, which ran for 18 issues, was written by Steve Niles and penciled by Scott Hampton. In it, we're introduced to the urban legend of Simon Dark, a mysterious supernatural crime fighter who reportedly protects the small Gotham City neighborhood called the Village. Simon, a strange figure in a disturbing mask, is somewhat feared by the people of the village, but they also appreciate his protection. The kids there even have a creepy nursery rhyme they sing about him. Lurks in the shadows, hides in the park. Simon, Simon, Simon Dark. If you're good, he'll stay away. If you're bad, he'll make you pay. Lurks in the shadows, hides in the park. Simon, Simon, Simon Dark. Cute, right? Unlike the Caped Crusader, this Simon Dark is a brutal killer. His favorite weapon is a piano wire, which he used to completely sever criminals' heads. We quickly learn though that Simon doesn't quite understand the consequences of his own actions. Simon possesses a childlike mind and is very naive, despite his vicious nature. He also lives in an abandoned church with a bunch of stray cats, and doesn't understand much about society and humans. He does like to read all the books though, and tries to learn more. As the series progresses, his origin is revealed to us. Simon wasn't born in a normal way. He was in fact put together by a mad scientist, using the body parts of 20 different teenage boys. So yeah, he's a Frankenstein's monster. However, there's more. The scientist, named Gus, tried to create these living dead people multiple times, but each time was a failure in some way. Simon would also have been a failure until Gus turned to Geopopulus, a cult of demons. With their help, Gus combined science and dark magic, and thus Simon Dark was born. So he's a magical Frankenstein. As such, Simon possessed numerous different powers. So many in fact, it's kinda hard to keep a track of them all. He's super strong and invulnerable to any attacks, including gunfire and knife stabs. His head can shapeshift, or rather take the guise of different faces. I assume the different faces of the 20 boys used to create him. He can also revive the dead by using one or two of the souls of these 20 boys. Simon can also see into a person's past or future by touching them, discovering something they've done or will do. And those are just the powers I can think of at the top of my head. At the start of the series, Simon suffers from amnesia and can't remember his past and origin. For some reason, Gus made it this way, because reasons. Meanwhile, Gus keeps a track of him by posing as a shop owner in the village and acting as a friend of Simon's. Simon also meets other people in the neighborhood whom he befriends, like Rachel Dodds, a teenage girl who just moved in with her dad. The two develop a strange sort of friendship, and Simon even falls in love with her. He also befriends the coroner Beth Granger and police detective Tom Kirk. Kirk is soon revealed to be more than just an ordinary cop, as he too is a supernatural undead patchwork man. Kirk was shot dead by a gang of criminals sometime prior to the series beginning, but was then revived in a similar fashion to Simon's creation. I honestly can't say if it was Gus or not. I think it was, but I'm not even sure they ever truly explained it. The thing you have to know about the Simon Dark series is that it's very vague and confusing about everything. No real clear explanations are given about anything. Anyway, together with his ragtag group of compadres, Simon spends the first 12 issues fighting the very cult that helped create him. They want to bring a whole lot of demons to Gotham, or destroy Gotham or something, I don't know. They use a weird plot though, where they infect the city's most popular soap brand with a demon virus. Apparently there aren't a whole lot of soap alternatives in Gotham City. It's weird as hell, but makes for some pretty cool imagery. Strange tiny creatures hide inside the soap and bite the victims while they shower, turning them into super strong zombified maniacs. When this whole arc is done with, we get a few issues where the characters just deal with their lives and sort things out, until a new villain is introduced. This guy is far more interesting than a cult. He's basically Simon's brother, one of Gus's failed earlier experiments. Unlike Simon, he hates his so-called father and wants to kill him for discarding him. This character showed a lot of promise and was sort of the dark mirror image of Simon, but then he was quickly killed off because the series was cancelled. And that was the end of Simon Dark. We never saw the character again. He hasn't made a single appearance outside his own 18-issue series, not even a cameo. It seems like DC has completely forgotten the character exists. Naturally, he also hasn't appeared in media outside comics. So, as soon as I started doing superheroes too, several people suggested I do Simon Dark for Spooktober. I thought it was a good idea and figured he'd be perfect as my second forgotten superhero. I was only vaguely familiar with the character though and had actually read his series, so in order to make this video, I read through all 18 issues. Now that I'm done, I have to admit, it wasn't a very enjoyable task. It felt more like a chore than entertainment. There's just something about this series, the way it's written, it's very strange. Nothing makes a whole lot of sense. Things never become quite clear, characters and events aren't explored enough, characters act weird and unnatural, the dialogue is often unrealistic, and the jokes are just terrible. In short, I would say this was a bad series. No wonder it got cancelled. I frankly find it odd it managed to survive for 18 issues. Now with that said, there definitely is potential here. Simon Dark himself is not a bad character. I think they gave him way too many vague powers, but as a character, he has the potential to be very interesting. Like Swamp Thing's The Patchwork Man, he's a Frankenstein's monster-styled character. I would also say he's a dark version of Captain Marvel, a kid basically who's a superhero. We get a lot of moments where Simon displays his childish nature. In fact, he seems far more childish and naive than any ordinary teenager would be. He feels more like a 5-year-old in some ways. There's just something very tragic about a 5-year-old running around in the shadows, killing criminals with piano wire. You feel that this really isn't what he should be doing, but it seems to be the only thing he knows how to do. Simon, while appreciated in the village, is still an outcast freak. People are afraid of him and the cops are hunting him. We don't get any pitchforks, but it still evokes Frankenstein. Simon also doesn't understand normal human behavior. He's incapable of living in our society. At first, that is. The focus of the series is in part on Simon evolving through his interactions with Rachel and the others, learning more how to act among people. In the beginning, he also has issues with his shape-shifting face, not being able to keep it normal for more than a brief moment, forcing him to wear that mask. At the end of the series though, Simon is capable of permanently holding a normal face. It's also implied that he gives his Simon Dark persona up and leaves to live among people as a regular person, although this feels rushed. Obviously, it wasn't supposed to happen so soon, but the series was cancelled. Anyway, Simon grows throughout the run, and he also learns that you can't just kill willy-nilly, although he doesn't quite understand why. It's this ignorance of our society's morals and laws that makes Simon so interesting. A killer superhero who kills simply because he doesn't understand killing is wrong. That's not the same as, say, the Punisher, who perfectly knows what he's doing. I kid you not, but very early in the series, Simon actually believed that when you decapitate someone, his favorite hobby, their head eventually grow back out. It's both funny and scary at the same time. So you see what I mean. This character certainly has potential. He also has a very cool design, kind of a cross between the Crow, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger. The nursery rhyme is also very Freddy Krueger. I don't feel it's fair DC has locked Simon away and pretends he never existed. He deserves a second chance. Maybe not in his own series. In fact, that would be pretty stupid. No, they should have him guest star in a Batman story. That was also a problem with the Simon Dark series. Batman never showed up. Neither did any other Batman character. Not Gordon, not Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, or anyone else. All we got was a couple of references to Batman in dialogue. In 18 issues, that's all we get. It doesn't even feel like these stories take place in Gotham at all. It feels like any generic city, because there's nothing Gotham about it. It really makes you wonder why they decided to set the series in Gotham in the first place. What was the point? So will this character ever appear again? At the moment, it seems like no. But of course, you never know. Let me know in the comments what you think of Simon Dark. Did you even know he existed? And if you did, have you read his series? And if so, what did you think of it? What type of story or scenario would you like to see him return in? Let me know in the comments. And as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.